You're back on the Mountain Morning Show, and it's time to talk about real estate essentials. And I have from 5 Star Painting, Brendan Oquindo. Hello, sir.
Hey, Bud. How are you
Welcome
doing?
back, my friend.
Thanks so much for having me again.
It's good to have you here again. I haven't talked enough about painting.
I mean, you can never talk enough about painting.
Right? And I like to watch it dry. I don't care what anybody else says.
It has a bad stigma, but it's an entertaining process.
Well, you know what? Painting before it dries is an important part of painting.
Yeah.
Right?
Got to make sure it's done right.
Exactly. So you got to keep that wet edge going.
That's right.
It's an important.
Definitely do.
Now, I didn't know this about you, but you've been doing some flips yourself.
Yeah, actually, if you tune into the last episode of the Real Estate Essentials, we were focusing on a house that I do. So I do a lot of real estate investment too. It's a great symbiotic relationship with my painting company. So we kind of were able to do that. More importantly, we were able to do some cool design ideas and really explore them on the show. I think it was a good episode.
That's awesome. Well, I kind of excited to see some of this. It's neat to know that you do that too. I would never have guessed, but I see how it would be a symbiotic relationship. There's no doubt.
Yeah, well, and you get to really test the waters with some, fresh colors and some new design ideas, and so I get to be experimental, if you will, on some of the stuff that I'm doing, and it actually turns out to usually work out really well. People tend to gravitate towards.
Are you in there sponging stuff then?
I don't really do a lot of the design, like the faux stuff, but really the colors, like more of the modern colors, the grays and the whites, and all that kind of stuff is popular
right now. Yeah,
very, very, very.
Well, it brings up an important question. How long do you think a color palette lasts?
They go season to season, really. But the whites and the lighter colors tend to stick around a lot. So when you start getting into some of those more drastic colors, where people gravitate away and towards them, So I was actually having this discussion with somebody the other day. We took these cabinets that were this kind of old oak, 1990s oak, and we refinished them white, and so they came out really pretty. And I was talking to somebody about how timeless white is. It's one of those colors that never really tends to go away. People always seem to like it. It just is very popular, or it's kind of popular, but it's never like dead.
Yeah.
So
the light tan, that's another one that's
that was
popular.
really popular for a super long time.
Now it's kind of a gray.
Now it's definitely gone grays, richer grays and those type of colors.
Wow, is this the one that we're talking about right here that you flipped?
Yes, that is the show.
Awesome.
Actually. Yeah. So those are the cabinets behind them, and that was a fun little episode we did.
Indeed. Well, it's neat to see you do, to get in there and dig in on a house like that where, I mean,
it's fun to do it on your own stuff,
choices.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of...
Well, because in this business, I tend not to steer people towards colors.
Because
then sometimes when it's not the way they want it, you tend to be like, oh, sorry, I guided you that way. So this was fun because I was able to really put some of my own flavor into it.
I love this. So. All right, let's talk about let's give some folks a tip or two. Can we do that?
Yeah.
For painting?
Yeah.
Do you mind?
Yeah.
They're still gonna want you to paint because at the end of the day,
I can't give away all my secrets.
I know we won't give away too many. We'll give away one, but it's not. At the end of the day, having somebody else do your painting, it's kind of a good plan in the first place. But talk about how you cut in a little paint. I've always wondered how to do this just right. What's the trick? So
there's a lot of old school painters that kind of use the brush and rollers. We're a little bit of a new school, if you will, type of company. So we do a lot of spraying. So most of the stuff we do is kind of tape and spray. The lines are super clean. You get those nice thick edges so they're not peeling. So we do it a little different, which is nice because a lot of people can't really do that on their own. So it tends to allow them to contact us more than trying to do it. Cutting it with a brush for even a professional can be pretty difficult.
It's hard.
It's a steady hand, right? So
a
lot of people don't have that. Most people don't have that.
Now I had a little good results with the pads. Those seem to be a good way to go.
Those are like little do-it-yourselfer type.
Yeah,
tricks.
that seemed like
I need to invent something like that. I think I need to kind of come up with a cool painting tool.
Get something in there.
Yeah, and I can retire.
I think renting some sprayers maybe.
Yeah, yes, you could do that.
It would be good.
It's I mean the spraying process. I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit more invasive than your standard.
Yeah, and getting the paint right
deal. Yeah,
because you do have to do something with paint. You're just putting it on like it is.
Yeah, it's definitely a process. Well, and a lot of people the hard part with painting is it's one of those things where a lot of people can do it on their own, but once you get in there, you realize, man, this isn't worth fun,
Well, when you've seen professional painters, and I've been out there filming with a few, and I've seen the difference.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that whole wall, that whole room, an hour. I'm like, me? Today
couple
or
days.
two?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Well, and that's the value, right? I mean, you want somebody to come in. They can, like I said, it's invasive, but we're in or we're out. We're there
Right.
a couple days. Your house is done, and
Plus
we're
you
on our way.
have enough tarps to cover everything.
Yep.
You're working around
Protect all
stuff.
your stuff,
Don't
absolutely.
even really have to move anything to speak of. I'm like, wow, this is kind of tremendous.
Yeah, it's an all-inclusive. It's like an all-inclusive resort, right? But for painting.
I like that. Talk about one of the things that I know in Park City, I think we're a little more environmentally, I think, thought provocative, I suppose, or provoked with VOC and that kind of stuff. That's come a long ways in paint.
Well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Park City, is their own little area, so they're not affected as much by some of the environmental standards. They have their own rules and regulations. But in Utah in January, they just passed some rules and regulations where zero VOC is pretty much the norm.
Is it?
So yeah, so they've done away with all of the high volatile compound products.
Okay.
They've really segued everything to super environmentally friendly. So Utah's kind of leading the direction in terms of environmental products and painting. It's made it a little more difficult because there are some really good products that tend to have they're a little bit tougher on the environment, but they're good. So they're creating new products that essentially are equally as good, but better for the environment. So
yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Better for your lungs too.
Exactly. The kids and the animals.
Kids don't have a hard time.
Yeah.
We all know it's nice to have a new smell of paint.
Yeah, I do.
But you don't want to live.
I do like the smell of paint, but you don't. Yeah, you don't want too much of it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Aquindo, as always, it's great to have you
check
here.
us out on Real Estate Essentials, and we
And
appreciate
Five Star
your time.
Painting. What's the website?
5starpainting.com. Give us a call. We'd be happy to come out. We do free estimates, so we'd love to come out and check out what you have.
All right, sounds good. Get your home looked at. Get a fresh coat of paint on it for spring. It's that time of year. Pick the colors that'll last. This guy will help you out with that. We'll be back with more right here on the Mountain Morning Show. When we come back, we're going to be talking about Lyme disease. You may not know, and you could have it. Just saying. We'll be right back.